The appearance of Xiaoyan immediately aroused the curiosity of all powerful experts. Regarding this mysterious existence, everyone was eager to know what he had come here for. Previously, brilliant fireworks bloomed across the sky. That dazzling radiance illuminated almost the entire continent. Countless members of the Xiao clan and Yan clan raised their heads, staring blankly at the fireworks exploding high above. Millions of miles away from this continent, in the sky above another land, two elderly figures stood suspended in the air. The aura emanating from them far surpassed that of a peak 9-star Dao Sheng. They were clearly two Du Di experts. Ling Fan, it seems the Xiao clan has truly given birth to a Do Di, one of the elders said. He was the clan leader of the Lei clan Lei Yu. Hearing this, the elder called Ling Fan. The supreme elder of the Ling clan replied, "I'm afraid that would be inappropriate. The rules set by the Heavenly Emperor state that regardless of strength, no clan may interfere in another clan's internal affairs without cause." Huh. Lei Yu chuckled lightly. "Do you think only our Ling and Lei clans are interested in the Xiao clan? As far as I know, the Xuan clan, Yao clan, Qing clan, Gu clan, and even the Demon Tiger clan, all the clans neighboring the Xiao and Yan clans, are secretly observing everything happening there. This matter is far too unusual. I suspect even the Heavenly Emperor himself is involved." Fine. Let's go take a look." Ling Van no longer hesitated. As his voice fell, both figures vanished instantly. At the same time, within less than 100,000 miles from the Xiao clan's continent, many figures had already gathered in the sky. These were all clan leaders of nearby races. Far above them, in the deep void, two of the most powerful existences in the Do-Chi world had also arrived. One was an old man in white robes, the very Heavenly Emperor ancestor of the Heaven clan, who had once confronted the Gu Demon Emperor at the edge of the plain. Behind him stood the Heaven clan leader Tian Shunzi. When did the Xiao clan produce such a heaven-shaking expert? Tian Shunzi stared at Xiaoyan and spoke. What shocked him was that despite his strength as a 6-star Dao Di, he was completely unable to perceive Xiaoyan's true cultivation. This person is within the Xiao clan, yet his strength clearly surpasses a 9-star Du Di. The Heavenly Emperor spoke in a deep voice. He is not from the Xiao clan, nor is he from this world. I have a feeling something world-shaking is about to happen in the Do-Chi world. Within the Xiao clan territory, tens of thousands of miles away from the Great Forbidden Valley, Xiao Tianshan and the others felt the surging energy fluctuations constantly erupting around them. They realized that what was happening within the Xiao clan had already attracted the attention of countless forces and races. However, at this moment they had no time to worry about the outside world. Everyone's gaze remained fixed on the Great Forbidden Valley. Inside it, Xiaoyan and the Gu Demon Emperor stood facing each other in mid-air. Flames that burned life itself still wrapped around the Gu Demon Emperor. His life force had less than a minute remaining. "Kill me. I refuse to be burned to death by these flames," the Gu Demon Emperor said coldly. Hearing this, Xiaoyan curled his lips into a faint sneer. "Kill you, like how you slaughtered hundreds of billions of Xiu clan lives centuries ago." Ha! As his voice fell, he casually waved his sleeve, and a massive spatial crack spanning hundreds of thousands of Zhang tore open instantly. Seeing this scene, all the experts surrounding the Xiao clan continent turned pale. Even the Heavenly Emperor and the others were shocked. This guy, is he trying to release those evil spirits? The Heavenly Emperor's figure flashed, rushing straight toward the spatial rift. He did not know who Xiaoyan was, nor what he intended to do, but this sudden action was far too incomprehensible. The Gu Demon Emperor snorted coldly at the rift, yet showed no intention of escaping. Instead, he mobilized all his power, forming a massive demonic eye in the sky. Within it surged all his remaining strength. He knew clearly, even though the rift leading out of the Do-Chi world was close, the hellfire burning his life would reduce him to ashes before he could reach it. Since that was the case, he might as well use his final strength for something meaningful. At the center of the demonic eye, terrifying energy condensed, and in an instant, it transformed into a massive beam of light stretching hundreds of thousands of jang, piercing straight toward Xiaoyan. At the same time, the Heavenly Emperor appeared before the spatial crack, guarding it to prevent any evil being from escaping. Facing the overwhelming demonic beam, Xiaoyan merely raised his hand and pressed down gently. In that instant, time itself seemed to freeze. The terrifying demonic light was halted mid-air, then instantly disintegrated. The scattered fragments of energy were transformed by an unknown force into pure energy, reforming into a radiant beam that shot back toward the Goo Demon Emperor. Ha ha ha! Seeing this, the Goo Demon Emperor did not retreat, nor did even the slightest trace of fear surface upon his face. Instead, his lips curled upward, then parted, and a deep, unrestrained laughter burst forth, echoing like the tolling of a cursed bell across the heavens. It was laughter filled not with madness alone, but with defiance, and something far more ominous. As the radiant light surged forward, swallowing him whole and erasing his existence piece by piece, his voice did not fade. On the contrary, it seemed to grow sharper, colder, carrying a chilling malice that seeped into the very fabric of space. Those who stand beyond this domain, he hissed, his tone laced with an eerie certainty, will one day descend upon this world and trample every single one of you who dare call it your home. The final echo lingered long after his form had been completely obliterated, as if the threat itself had etched into the laws of reality. And then he was gone, completely. Silence followed. In the distant sky, Xiao Tianxian and the others stood frozen for a brief moment, as though unable to process what had just transpired. But soon realization dawned upon them, and with it came unrestrained joy. The ancient nightmare that had haunted the Xiao clan for generations had finally been eradicated. No more shadows, no more looming dread, only relief pure and overwhelming. High above, suspended amidst the shifting currents of space, Xiaoyan stood alone. His gaze was calm yet unfathomably deep. As he looked toward the slowly closing spatial rift, the scar left behind by the clash. With a mere flicker of thought, the fabric of space responded. The torn edges of the rift began to mend themselves, knitting together seamlessly as though guided by an unseen hand. In moments, the fracture shrank, its chaotic energy fading into stillness. Before it stood the Heavenly Emperor, yet for all his might and experience, his brows were tightly furrowed, his heart filled with confusion. He could not comprehend it. This young man, this existence that had appeared so suddenly, what exactly was he? Power, composure, control over space itself. None of it aligned with the natural order he understood. At this very moment, across the vast expanse of the world, countless powerful beings, hidden masters, ancient entities, and supreme experts had all turned their attention toward the same figure. The man in black robes, a stranger, an anomaly, an enigma. Curiosity surged within them like a rising tide. Who was he? Where had he come from? And most importantly, what did he want? Then, Xiaoyan slowly lifted his gaze. His eyes swept across the world below. To those watching, it felt as though he was looking directly at them. Their hearts trembled under that silent, all-encompassing gaze, as if their very souls had been laid bare. But what they did not know, what they could never imagine, was that Xiaoyan's perception had already transcended their understanding. Within just a few breaths, the entire plane unfolded within his consciousness. Every hidden corner, every forbidden land, every sealed, slumbering evil that had been buried across countless eras, their locations, their conditions, their numbers, all of it appeared clearly in his mind, as if the world itself had surrendered its secrets to him. Nothing could escape his awareness. Nothing could remain hidden. And in that moment, it was as though Xiaoyan stood not within the world, but above it. One Earth sovereign-level evil, 12 Emperor-level evils, and several hundred King-level evils. Xiaoyan silently counted. He knew well, this was far from the true number. But over the years, thanks to the efforts of the Heavenly Emperor and others, Most had already been eliminated. As for that Earth sovereign level existence, even the Heavenly Emperor had never dared to act rashly. After all, even as a 7-star dude, facing a being comparable to an Earth Supreme, victory was far from guaranteed. Even if the opponent was sealed and weakened, Xiaoyan took a deep breath. Since the remaining ones are troublesome, I'll handle them personally. To avoid unnecessary panic, he spoke using amplified voice. I believe all of you are curious about my arrival, so let me explain a few things. In the distant ancient era, the Doqi world was far larger than it is today, dozens of times larger. At that time, there existed 10 supercontinents, but a sudden catastrophe shattered the entire world, splitting it into hundreds of fragmented planes. The world you stand in now is the largest of those fragments, and the continent beneath your feet was once only one of those 10 great supercontinents. The dignified planemaster Xiaoyan had actually been played. The Black Earth Sovereign had successfully transmitted information to the extraterritorial evil race. Previously, as Xiaoyan's voice spread, everyone present felt their hearts tremble. Even the Heavenly Emperor standing high in the sky was no exception. Having long sought to break the limits of the Doqi world, he now stared at Xiaoyan in disbelief. If what Xiaoyan said was true, then it was simply terrifying. The reason Xiaoyan revealed these secrets was because he believed that the experts of this world could withstand the truth far better than those of the Doqi continent he once came from. I come from another fragmented world. You may not sense Doqi from me. That is because there exists a world thousands of times larger than the Doqi continent of ancient times. The energy we cultivate is transformed in that world into a power far superior to Doqi. That is why, when I returned to the Doqi world, I was no longer assimilated by Doqi. Not only that, besides that vast world, there exists another external world capable of rivaling it. The evil forces that invaded this Doqi world hundreds of years ago came from that outer world, and the experts who assisted our Doqi world came from the Great Thousand World. I don't have time to explain everything in detail. I've even given up explaining this to other worlds. But what I'm about to do next is to eliminate all the sealed evil beings in this world. I hope none of you interfere, although I can control this world. If anything goes wrong, innocents may still be harmed. As Xiaoyan's words fell, the surroundings instantly fell into silence. Everyone stared at him in shock. The impact of his words was simply overwhelming. Dao Di experts could barely accept it, but those below that level felt their worldview collapsing. So it turned out, the world they lived in was merely a fragment of a far greater whole. Then, Xiaoyan slowly raised his hand. Across the entire Doqi world, pillars of black light suddenly shot into the sky. They were all ancient divine towers. Dozens of these towers stood tall, each with golden flame dragons coiling above them. Most had only dozens of dragons, but 4 towers stood out, each with over 200, and the most magnificent tower of all had nearly 1,000 flame dragons surrounding it. At this moment, all eyes in the world were fixed on Xiaoyan. Every duty tensed. They were no longer just curious, they were on edge. All eyes were locked onto Xiaoyan as a single question echoed in every mind. How would he erase these terrifying evil beings? At this moment, they finally began to understand. This man was not merely a Dodi. He was something far beyond their comprehension. For the very first time, they had come face to face with a being known as a planemaster. High above the heavens, Xiaoyan stood silently, his gaze sweeping across the towering black structures below. Each ancient divine tower was wrapped in countless golden flame dragons, their numbers reaching into the thousands. This was far beyond the mere dozens he had once obtained from the Gu Demon Emperor. The sheer density of refining flame power gathered here was so overwhelming that even an Earth Supreme would hesitate before it. Xiaoyan let out a faint sigh. Such immense power, such rare resources, and yet they could not be used. A trace of regret flashed across his eyes, but only for a moment. These may still be useful one day. The next instant, he moved. With nothing more than a casual flick of his sleeve, a boundless surge of heavenly flame erupted into existence. His Diyan, the Emperor Flame, unleashed itself upon the world. Before countless stunned gazes, the flames expanded into a colossal tidal wave, blotting out the sky itself as it descended upon the towers. The heavens trembled, space distorted. Even the heavenly emperor, a peak existence of this world, felt his heart shake uncontrollably. This power, it was beyond reason. Yet at the very peak of the tallest tower, the Black Earth Sovereign did not retreat. Instead, his eyes flashed with determination. With a sudden grip of his hand, a white jade token appeared, and without hesitation, he crushed it. Crack! The sound echoed faintly, but what followed was anything but insignificant. Xiaoyan's eyes narrowed slightly. Nothing escaped his perception. At first he assumed it was some desperate defensive technique, a final attempt to resist his overwhelming flames. But in the next instant, his expression subtly changed. The shattered jade did not release power to defend. Instead, it transformed into a thin black ray of light. Silent, fast, deadly. It pierced through space itself, shooting straight toward the edge of the plane. And in that moment, Xiaoyan realized this was not an attack. It was a signal meant for something far more terrifying, lurking beyond this world. Xiaoyan was briefly stunned, but quickly realized the intent: to summon reinforcements from the extraterritorial evil race. A faint projection appeared in his hand. A mysterious light spread from it, and the entire world seemed to fall under his control. He pointed precisely, at the point where the black light would pierce the plane boundary. Something's wrong. Suddenly, Xiaoyan sensed something off. He withdrew his finger and struck in the opposite direction instead. But he was a step too late. Before his hand could reach it, a faint distortion appeared, and a nearly undetectable white ray of light slipped through. Xiaoyan's expression changed slightly. The black light had only been a decoy. The real signal was the nearly invisible white light. It had likely already left the Du-Chi world and was heading toward the extraterritorial evil race. Xiaoyan knew the consequences. The enemy would now learn the exact location of this world and invade at will. Huh, didn't you want to kill me? The Black Earth Sovereign sneered. Even if I die, I'll drag your entire world down with me. Xiaoyan snorted coldly. With a grasp of his hand, the boundless Emperor Flame surged violently, forming a colossal fire prison that trapped the Black Earth Sovereign. Then, the heavens trembled. From the boundless sea of flame, thousands upon thousands of golden fire dragons roared into existence. Each one carried the fury of destruction, their blazing bodies twisting through the sky like living comets. With a deafening chorus of draconic cries, they surged forward and crashed into the prison. The inferno erupted. This was no ordinary flame. It was a refining fire born from the pinnacle of power, capable of reducing even the mightiest beings to nothingness. Space itself seemed to distort under its heat, as if reality could no longer withstand such overwhelming force. Within mere breaths, the once dominant, supremely arrogant Black Earth Sovereign began to falter. His aura, once vast and oppressive, now wavered violently under the relentless assault. The confidence in his eyes faded, replaced by something he had long forgotten: fear. High above, Xiaoyan stood in silence, his expression cold and unmoved. His gaze was like that of a god overlooking the fate of mortals. That the Black Earth Sovereign had endured this long was admittedly beyond expectation. But Xiaoyan had no intention of allowing this battle to drag on any further. Slowly he raised his hand. At that moment, a pure and radiant light bloomed from his palm, soft at first, yet carrying an indescribable authority. It spread outward in an instant, covering the entire Du-Chi world. Every corner of the realm was bathed in its brilliance, as if the world itself had been seized within his grasp. Then, the light began to contract. The vast radiance shrank, condensing with unimaginable pressure. When it reduced to a span of 100,000 zhang, The blazing prison and the struggling Black Earth sovereign were completely sealed within it. The sphere continued to compress, smaller, denser, more absolute, until at last, it became no larger than the size of a palm quietly hovering above Xiaoyan's hand. Inside it, the raging inferno had vanished. The overwhelming energy had been completely subdued. All that remained was a single wisp of black smoke. That was the Black Earth sovereign. Bastard, his voice now distorted and filled with despair, echoed faintly from within the sphere. To dare oppose the extraterritorial race, you will all be destroyed. With those final venomous words, his presence was utterly erased from existence. Silence fell. But in that very instant, Xiaoyan's expression changed. His brows furrowed slightly, a rare trace of tension appearing in his otherwise calm demeanor. Because he had sensed it, a terrifying demonic aura, rushing toward the Do-Chi world at an unimaginable speed. It was vast, oppressive, and filled with an ancient, malevolent intent. This power far surpassed that of an early-stage Earth Supreme. It belonged to something far more dreadful, an existence at the level of an Earth Sovereign of evil, comparable to a mid-stage Earth Supreme, and it was coming.